What's good, everybody? It's UturnCrobat here, bringing you Season 1, Week 1 of the WPE. But before getting into anything, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please make sure you help support this video. Now, we are bringing a Swellow with choice specs. The ability is Scrappy, level 50, obviously. AVs, 204 HP, 252 special attack, 52 speed, modest nature. With Boom Burst, U-Turn, Heat Wave, Air Slash, Cofagrigus, Culverberry, with 252 HP, 228 defense, 4 special defense, 24 in speed, bold, 0 IVs in attack, 0 in speed, a Shadow Ball, Toxic Spikes, Pain Split, and Haze. Renucleus with a Life Orb. This is actually one of my favorite mons to actually use in this league. But 252 HP, 4 in defense, 252 special attack with modest nature, 0 IVs in attack, 0 IVs in speed, Side Shot, Calm Mind, Acid Armor, and Recover. The Manaphy Wackenberry, the hydration ability, obviously 252 HP, 108 special attack, 148 speed, timid, 0 IVs in attack, Tail Glow, Surf Energy Ball, and Ice Beam. We're bringing Nidoqueen, Black Sludge, Sheer Force, 220 in HP, 52 in attack, 28 special attack, 180 special defense, 28 in speed with a careful nature, Poison Jab, Flamethrower, Stealth Rock, and Taunt. Fortress, Rocky Helmet, Sturdy, 252 HP, 92 defense, 164 speed, Impish Nature, Explosion, Volt Switch, Rapid Spin, and Spikes. Now, our opponent is bringing the Donphan, Buzzwole, Clefable, Violent Plume, the Rotom, and the Ferrothorn there. Now, through this battle, I'm not going to speed it up. This is going to be a relatively long battle. It was a long battle. I think it came down close to the timer. And the reason why I'm not speeding it up is because I want to make sure I get the commentary right. I want to make sure that I explain everything correctly. And so, we invested speed into Fortress, throw speed, min speed Clefable. That was really important, so Clefable doesn't outspeed and hit like a flamethrower. That would be problematic, so I'm glad that we were able to invest that speed into Fortress. It was very important that we did. And the fastest Pokemon on his entire roster, not just his team, but his entire roster is Rotom Heat, which is actually out of this world, because we have fast mons, and because his only mon is Rotom. That's pretty freaking crazy. But that means that we can invest more bulk into our faster mons due to a slow roster, and I'm so glad that we were able to do so. The Wackenberry on Manaphy was for potential Scarfed Rotom or Buzzwole. The Culverberry on Cofagrigus was for a potential Conkeldurr bringing knockoff, which is very, very common. So I wasn't sure if he was going to be bringing Conkeldurr or not, but just to play it safe, I'm glad we do have that Culverberry on Cofagrigus. Now, Hazard's looking at his team, and not just his roster, but looking at his team, Hazard stacking him was huge because it pressured his team a lot. Obviously, we weren't sure who he was going to bring, but looking at his entire roster, just Hazard stacking was very, very important. He doesn't really have any mons who really have Rapid Spin or Defog or anything like that. Now, bringing Manaphy was huge. And the reason why it was huge, because it was just huge with the Hazard stacking, because it meant that we had good ways of beating either Magic Guard or Unaware Clefable. If you used Magic Guard, Tail Glow Manaphy would have beaten it, and Unaware Clefable would have been worn down by Hazards. And so that is why we are bringing the sets that we're bringing. Now at this point, I think I'm just going to go on and get into the battle. Now looking at his team, I didn't really have any reason not to lead Clambake, as you're going to see momentarily, just because I really wanted to get those rocks up. And like I mentioned, we really needed to just needed to Hazard stack. Looking at his team, at team preview, it was vitally important that we did so. And so, I mean, I don't know why I said Stealth Rock, but Spikes, obviously. We do have Stealth Rock as well, but I did mean Spikes. If he goes for knockoff, which he does, it doesn't really matter too much, even though that I feel like that did a fair amount of damage. Luckily, he does get the Rocky Helmet damage, but we are able to get one layer of Spikes up. My plan was to get all 3 layers of Spikes and Toxic Spikes up. So, because of that Clefable, I wasn't sure what his ability was going to be, but if he brings in that Clefable, then all those freaking Spikes, Stealth Rocks, Toxic Spikes are going to do heavy damage to that Clefable, which is one huge Pokemon that I really wanted to wear down. The Earthquake, as you see, isn't going to be doing too much, but I do want to kind of make a decision here. I kind of want to predict a rapid spin. I knew at this point in time, because he did see I was setting up 2 layers of spikes, I was 90% sure he was in fact going to go for a rapid spin. I didn't see any reason why he wouldn't, so I felt perfectly safe going into Kafagrigus. If he wanted to go for a knockoff, like I mentioned, we do have that Colbert Berry, so it didn't really matter too much. It didn't really matter a whole lot. But at the same time, I just wanted to just play it safe and go for a prediction on the rapid spin, which was a plus. I'm really safe to go for a Toxic Spike. Like I mentioned, hazard stacking was very important in this battle. I really wanted to poison anyone who decided to come in. I'm going to go into Suzuki predicting a Volt Switch or a Thunderbolt or anything like that. Unfortunately, he's going to be going for the Will-O-Wisp. The reason why I say unfortunately is because Nidoqueen does pack that Poison Jab for the Clefable, so now that we're burned, Poison Jab isn't going to be doing nearly as much, but as you'll see later in the battle, it's not going to really matter too much. But he does have that Violent Plume, which he's bringing in right now just to soak up those Toxic Spikes. And that's really unfortunate, only because now we're not looking at it now. At this point in time, I knew that we weren't going to be able to poison anyone unless we got rid of Violent Plume. But I am free to set up my rocks because he switched out, so I didn't really mind going for my rocks at all. Rotom couldn't have done anything to me, so I had a perfect opportunity to just keep setting up, just keep setting up those hazards. Now at this point, I wasn't sure what this Violent Plume was going to do. If this thing was going to be Life Orbed or Choice Specs, that would be a huge problem. But as you're going to see right here, this Giga Drain isn't going to be doing a ton at all. So I wasn't too worried seeing that damage. I knew that he wasn't Life Orbed. I knew that he wasn't Choice Specs or Expert Belt or just anything drastic like that. I felt safe just leaving Nidoqueen in on that Giga Drain. I didn't have any reason not to. I wanted to get a Flamethrower up, and I knew that I could leave at least 1 Giga Drain, which I can. So I'm switching out, predicting another Giga Drain. I'm going to go back into Clambake because I want to get my 3rd layer of spikes up. And at the same time, I just kind of want to Volt Switch and just try and get some initiative. He is going to be going into Clefable right now, which I don't mind at all. I figured he was either going to be staying in or switching out because, well, obviously those would be his options. But at the same time, I was not, because he brought Clefable in, I was like 90-95% sure he was in fact going to use a Flamethrower on me. So thank God with the speed investment, we're able to outspeed. I'm able to Volt Switch, get the initiative, and go out into Suzuki predicting that Flamethrower, which Clefable is going to be shooting out. Now we are going to be able to take that relatively well. I mean, it's Clefable, so it's not Stab. Even though we do have the lefties, I mean, Black Sludge, it's not going to really matter because we are burned. So it's just going to negate that Black Sludge recover, which is really unfortunate. But as you see right there, Clefable does have the lefties, which is a huge problem, because when you're facing a Clefable, unaware or whatever it is, if that Clefable has any sort of recovery, it's bad news, because it's a huge wall. Clefable is really good at being a wall. It's fucking amazing. I hate it. So he's switching out as I switch out into Manaphy. He's going to be going into Rotom Heat. Now this is on one hand it's great because we can hit off a Surf. We can just eat. We can eat the electric attacks with the berry that we have, but because he is Volt Switching, on one hand is a problem because we are eating that berry, but at the same time, I don't mind at all because now I know that this thing could potentially be Scarfed, and I have some information that I can kind of run with. Now he's going to be going into Ferrothorn. Now, because he's going into Ferrothorn, I know for a fact, just looking at him breaking into Ferrothorn, I'm 100% sure that every single time he sees Manaphy, his switch in is Ferrothorn, and I know that. So I can make those decisions, and I can make those predictions later on in the battle that will help us, hopefully win. I'm switching out, though. I do not want to take a, I already forgot that move that he used. Not Vine Whip, I don't even know. But anyways, I'm going to Clambake. I know that I can take any attacks the thing wants to throw at me. He's going to go for the Leech Seed, which luckily we do miss. It didn't really matter that he missed, only because, I mean, we can take it. We can take the Leech Seed. It doesn't bother me too much. I'm going for my 3rd layer of spikes. I was happy that I was able to do so, simply because that Clefable is going to be walking in on all of these fucking spikes and stealth rocks, and that's a huge problem for him. Now, he's going to be not necessarily hazard stacking, but he is going to be throwing out his rocks on us, which we do have Rapid Spin, so it doesn't really, I don't really mind going for a Rapid Spin right now. yeah, we're gonna get hit with the iron barbs, but it doesn't really bother me. I mean, we have things for the fucking Ferrothorn, and even though Clambake is getting hurt with the iron barbs, I was happy that I did go for that rapid spin, because we do have Swellow in the back, so I really do not want Swellow coming in on all those rocks. It would just fucking hurt Swellow to the point where anything on his team can easily just revenge kill Swellow if it were to get hit with the rocks. And even if it didn't, he does have that Rotom and a potential Choice Scarf Buzzwole, so that would have been a problem. I'm going to go for a Volt Switch because I don't want the lead seed wearing down Clambake any more than it has to, but I have to applaud him on this prediction, because he did predict right in going for a double fucking leech seed, and I do have to applaud him on that. That was a great prediction. And now that we are leech seeded, on one hand, I'm glad that I switched out. On the other hand, we have a full health Renuculus right here, and at this point in time, I wanted to kind of go for some drastic setting up, and I really wanted to make some drastic plays. Now, he's going to be throwing out the Stealth Rocks again, which is, it is unfortunate, but I can deal with it. The reason why I went for the Acid Armor was because if this Ferrothorn wanted to go for, I don't even know, knockoff, I don't even know if Ferrothorn gets knockoff, but if he wanted to go for any physical moves, then we can definitely live that. If he wanted to double out, not double out, but if he wanted to go into Donphan, whatever, like he's going to do now, actually, then we can eat up a, we can eat up a fucking knockoff from the Donphan, and then we can just kind of play off that. Now, I'm going for a Calm Mind because I wanted to get up, I wanted to set up our special defense and physical defense, because if he decided not to go into Donphan and go into a special mon like Clefable or whatever, then I felt perfectly safe that we could easily eat up those special attacks and even the physical attacks. But I'm going to switch out because I don't want this thing rapid spinning at all. And luckily, Mummymon is still at full health, where I do feel good switching in Mummymon on a potential rapid spin. And if he, like I mentioned multiple times already, if he went for a knockoff, we do have the Colbert. It doesn't really matter a whole lot, as you're going to see right now. That's exactly what he was going to be doing. But I felt comfortable with the fact that we're able to eat up that knockoff, and now we're going to Mummize the Sturdy ability, which it doesn't really matter because he's not at full health. And even if, okay, he's not at full health, which means if we were to OHKO him, it's not, he doesn't have Sturdy, so I'm happy. But that Shadow Bolt is a fair deal, and I feel comfortable enough to know that he's going to be switching out. He does not want Donphan getting injured anymore from that Shadow Ball. Now, he's going to be going into Clefable, which is his wall. And look at that fucking damage, guys. Look at that fucking damage. Spikes, Stealth Rocks. I'm in love with that fucking damage. I do switch out, predicting him to switch out. I wasn't sure who he was going to really go into, but I did want to go into Manaphy simply because I want to get some damage off on his Pokemon. At this point in time, literally nothing was happening. He did not take out any of our Pokemon. I did not take out any of his Pokemon. So it was really just annoying to the fact where I needed to make some drastic plays. I'm going into Clambake because, one, I want to Rapid Spin, and at the same time, if we carry the Gyro Ball, Clefable doesn't really want to take that. But I really just wanted to go for a potential Rapid Spin. Simply because, well, we do have Swellow in the back, and I really cannot afford Swellow taking those fucking rock damage. I really can't. And at this point, I was in fact sacking Clambake off. Like I mentioned, I know, before I even saw it, I knew Clefable had the fucking Flamethrower. I did. Come on. It was somewhat obvious. So, he's going to be taking Clambake out, which is perfectly fine. On one hand, I was foddering it off. On the other hand, I wanted to go for this safe. Not necessarily safe, because he did take me out, but I did want to go for the Rapid Spin. Now, I am free to go into Heart Attack, the Swellow. Simply because we don't have the rocks anymore, I'm perfectly safe going into that. And I wanted to make some drastic plays, and I knew that if I did that, then Swellow was the option that I wanted to choose. So I'm going to be going for a Heat Wave. But looking at that damage from this range, if we had not missed, we were able to fucking take out Violent Plume from that range. So it didn't really bother me that, I mean, it did bother me that we missed, because fuck. but luckily we were able to outspeed and take out the Villamplume from there, meaning that if we have the opportunity, we can go back out into Suzuki and throw those toxic spikes. Nope, Cofagrigus has those toxic spikes, but we're able to throw Cofagrigus we're able to get those toxic spikes up. And at this point in time, looking at that range, I cannot two-hit KO the Clefable with Heat Wave, even if we would be able to if Clefable was more damaged. Unfortunately, it's not. He's going to be going for the Flamethrower, which we can easily take. Getting any damage than it had to, so I felt perfectly safe going into Suzuki. But unfortunately, Nidoqueen is not really doing anything at all in this battle, other than getting burned, really. But I'm going back out into Heart Attack and Swallow, because I was predicting him to switch. I wanted to scare him out with the potential Sludge Bomb or the Poison Jab, so I wanted to make the double and just scare him out and go into the Swallow. Now, I was very, very scared this thing was Choice Scarfed. I was very scared. I did not want Heart Attack getting demolished by potential Scarfed Buzzwole. I'm going into Mummymon right now because Mummymon is a great wall that we can at least kind of make a prediction and see if this thing's going to be banded or if this thing's going to be scarfed. I felt comfortable going into Mummymon for that reason, but looking at that damage, Buzzwole is not banded at all, which makes me happy. When I saw that damage, I was like, thank fuck, because had that been fucking banded, one that would have done a hell of a lot more damage, and I would have had to work around that a lot more carefully. But luckily, we're able to shoot out our toxic spikes. Now, every time this Pokemon come in, they're gonna get Stealth Rocked, they're gonna get spikes, they're gonna get poisoned. And the main reason why I shot out those toxic spikes was really for that Clefable, simply because it's fucking Clefable, I really wanted to wear down Clefable, and so looking at this, I just really, Suzuki isn't doing anything at all. I really wanted to predict a Volt Switch or a Thunderbolt or anything for that matter, but I'm going into Bad Influence because I know that this thing is not going to be going for a Thunderbolt. This thing is not going to be going for a Volt Switch. I'm easily able to eat up that fucking Overheat as my 3DS is dying. Bear with me. And so this battle, all in all, this battle was just... He did not have any switch-ins to Swallow at all. He really didn't at all. And barring Scarfers, of course, but he had no switch-ins to Swallow. Now, knowing that, we forced him to bring Scarfers, meaning that Rotom, meaning that potential Buzzwole, and because he had to bring the Scarfers to try to revenge kill Swallow, which he did on that Rotom. And I'm assuming that, at this point in time in this battle, I was assuming that Buzzwole was, in fact, scarfed, but we didn't really get confirmation that Buzzwole was scarfed. I was just kind of assuming that it was, just because looking at that damage, I know that it wasn't banded, and because he had to bring Scarfers for our faster mons, that limited his options in the plays that he could make, which is very, very helpful on our side, because that limited him a lot, which made them easier to play around, like I was just trying to say. And so now I'm able to see that this Buzzwole is in fact in range of a Heat Wave, and I'm able to eliminate that fucking potential Scarfer, who I thought it was, and it very well could have been, but luckily Swallow was able to take out that Buzzwole, eliminating one huge threat. Clefable is now in, it's gonna get hit with the rocks, it's gonna get hit the spikes, and now it is fucking poisoned, which is remarkable. Simply because I did not want to deal with Clefable longer than I had to, and unfortunately we do miss the Heat Wave. Had we not missed the Heat Wave, then we could potentially take out Clefable from that range had we got a high roll, but unfortunately we missed, and now we have to deal with Clefable a lot longer now, so, which was really, really annoying, but it is what it is. I mean, there's not much you could really do about it. You shouldn't really wish your opponent... I actually heard this from Max Rapture. I heard this from Max. You shouldn't really wish your opponent good luck in Pokemon battles, because there's really no luck in Pokemon, because shit happens. So yeah, I'm just gonna stop wishing people good luck, I guess. But I'm going into Renucleus a great Pokemon, a great wall to take in a flamethrower, a non-stop flamethrower. Now this part right here, this little scene, this little turn surprised the fuck out of me, because as you're going to see right here, we're going to be getting hit with the Moonblast. That didn't shock me at all. I knew he was in fact going to be going for a Moonblast, and it's not going to be doing too much at all, but this shocked me with the Psy Shock. Get it? Anyways, I'm going to be call the fucking Clefable. I'm calling the Clefable with from that range. That was fucking remarkable. He did not invest any physical investment at all. And I just want to mention something about Renucleus. Now, as long as Spiritomb and Buzzwole were gone, obviously he didn't bring Spiritomb, but Buzzwole, now that Buzzwole is gone, Renucleus could set up and win. He could potentially win, because if Unaware Clefable ignores any boosts, obviously. So it is not stopping a max special attack Modest Life Orb Renucleus at neutral. It's really not. So I'm so glad that Buzzwole is out of the way and out of the picture. But right now I am still facing a potential Scarfed Rotom, which is rather annoying. But from that range, I know that if he keeps bringing it in, then we can deal with it a lot easier had he be at full. So I'm just glad we were able to work around that. Now, this Donphan does not like the rocks at all. Unfortunately, I'm going to allow him to Rapid Spin simply because he only has 3 Pokemon left. And they're all really injured from the rocks, spikes, everything like that, and they're poisoned. Clefable and now Donphan and Rotom is really out of range where we can just try revenge killing it. So obviously I just didn't really mind him rapid spinning at all, and that allowed us to get a free recovery off too. So it was a win-win. I didn't mind at all. And I'm just going to, at this point in time, I honestly can just stay in and just Acid Armor, Calm Mind, and everything like that, because he has okay, I'm going to Acid Armor for a potential knockoff, not that it's going to really matter, but at the same time, I want to get my physical defense up. I was going to say physical attack. That would be kind of cool, but no, physical defense. And, it is what it is. And we're going to easily eat up this Earthquake. And Renucleus can really just pick up the win from now, from this point on. Renucleus, Blobius World can pick up the win. Like I mentioned, I wanted to set up because I knew now that Blobius World could actually win us the fucking game. He has Donphan, which is about to die. He has Rotom, and he doesn't have Clefable anymore, actually, now that I remember. But from the range Rotom is at, we can live a Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, whatever, and just eliminate Rotom with that Psyshock. But he's switching out, and I don't really mind. Oh yeah, the Ferrothorn. The Ferrothorn is a huge issue, only because it was really annoying, but at this point in time, the timer was almost fucking done. So we really needed to... I did not want this battle to go down to timer, but the way we were playing, it's not like we were stalling or anything. It was just the fact that I'm not going to be cocky, but we were 2 really good battlers, and so during the beginning of the battle, we were literally just predicting left and right, and nothing was happening. So that's why a few turns on our side, we wanted to bring in Swellow, just so we could get some fucking damage going, you know what I mean? That's why I wanted to bring in a Blobius World a couple of times, just so we could get some damage on Master Roshi's side. Now, I know I didn't mention my opponent at all in the beginning of the video, and I'm sure no one's watching right now, but if on the slight chance somebody is actually giving a fuck about this video, then Roshi's link and everything will be down in my description, so please make sure you go check him out. He is one hell of a battler. But the team that we brought, I was very happy with. I was hoping that Swellow would be the MVP, but no. Blobius World took that MVP spot because he was able to just bring that victory to us. He was able to deal with those attacks, and literally everybody on this team helped. Even Nidoqueen, even Nidoqueen scared things out. Nidoqueen helped in her own little way, and Manaphy, Manaphy helped, and so I just feel like this was one hell of a team. Everyone contributed in their own little special way, so I was happy about that. But I think I'm gonna get the hell out of here, guys. If you enjoyed the battle, then please give it a like, help support the goddamn channel. But I'm gonna get the hell out of here, like I mentioned, so I hope all of you have a great day, and I'll catch all of you all on the flip side.